Choose the word or phrase that is nearly similar in meaning, but at the top it says antonyms. What on earth? What a contradiction. All right, guess what? We're going to do both. This is a paper from May 2003. This one. So since we seem to have um, two opposing instructions, let us do both things. Let's find the synonym and the antonym. All right, so number one, let's do synonym in green and antonym in red. 3 marks? I don't think so. Not CSEC. Not this CSEC. Not in 2003, not in 2023. No such thing as 3 marks. All right. The prize winning garden boasted a profusion of rare plants. What would be the synonym for profusion? Synonym. And CSEC likes the word profusion or profusely or profuse. I've seen this word in different forms over many, many papers. Yeah. Profusion, quantity. A lot of flowers, not variety, quantity. So if something is happening profusely, then there's a lot of something. There's a lot happening. Right? Quantity. Another question I can remember is that the flowers grew profusely in the garden or something like that, which would be plentifully or abundantly. So synonym for profusion, quantity. What about antonym? Let's put the antonym in red. What is the opposite of a lot? Not seeing the paper properly? All right, this must be proper now. Like apologizing profusely. Ate. Yeah. Yeah, so the opposite of profusely would be, of profusion would be scarcity. Right? Scarcity means there's not a lot to go around. So when there's a water scarcity, for example, it means, the water supplies might get cut off. Not a lot of water is going around to people. All right, number two, we're finding synonym and antonym. The new employee seems to be a very zealous worker. Here we are again with the word zealous. Let's start with the synonym. I think CSEC actually meant for us to find synonyms here and not antonyms, because I'm not seeing a perfect antonym. Anyway, synonym, we've already established that zealous is enthusiastic because zeal is enthusiasm. And as for antonym, there's no true antonym here. There's no true antonym. D would be the closest to an antonym, but it's not really an antonym. So I guess CSEC really wants us to find synonyms and not antonyms. So this would have been the error. All right, number three. We found it hard to put up with his belligerent attitude. We'll still do our best to find synonyms and antonyms. So number three, what's the synonym here? Belligerent. It's an interesting word. We don't hear that word every day. I'm seeing some bees. Why am I seeing so many bees? Am I in a hive or something? Jamaican would say bee's nest. Let me look up the meaning for belligerent. The answer is not B, by the way, quarrelsome. But I'm going to read the definition. You should have a dictionary out so you can check along with me. I would share the dictionary on screen, but that might take too much time. Belligerent, engaged in warfare, eager to go to war, uncooperative, aggressively hostile. Right? These are different definitions for belligerent. So the synonym would be quarrelsome. Love to argue, love to fight, love to quarrel. and there is no antonym here. So let's forget about antonyms for this section. Number 4, he did everything possible to thwart the efforts of his relatives to have the will probated. And this is another word that CSEC has thrown onto lots of questions. Yeah, that's right. Purpose. In terms of describing someone's attitude, a destructive attitude would be a strange adjective. Strange adjective. Yeah. So thwart. You want to thwart someone's plans. If you want to thwart my plans, what do you want to do? Do you want to weaken, ridicule, obstruct, or defy? I'm seeing some C's. I'm seeing an A. Answer C, obstruct. What does obstruct mean? It means to get in the way of something, to get in a person's way, to stop their movements, right? Obstruct. So if I'm trying to get through a door, and you stand up in front of the door and block me, you're obstructing me. So the relatives wanted to get the will probated, and this person tried to do everything, or did everything in his power to prevent that from happening. So obstruct. Weaken is kind of similar in meaning, but it would be a strange adjective, or a strange verb to talk about what he's doing to the plan. Yeah, he's not trying to weaken the plan. He's just trying to stop it from happening, get in the way of it happening. All right, 5. I can assure you, the judge told the defendant, that the law is not vindictive. Another word that CSEC likes, vindictive. We're on to 5. Give me just a moment, guys. Okay, I'm back. I can assure you, the judge told the defendant the law is not vindictive. If someone is vindictive, then they are quite often seeking revenge. They are vengeful. They want to get back at you for something that you did to them. Right? So it's A, revengeful. All of these words are kind of negative, but the one that's accurately a synonym for vindictive would be revengeful. Let me search for vindictive in the dictionary. Vindictive, having a tendency to seek revenge when wronged, or vengeful. Yeah, vindictive. So what you guys should be doing, the right way to approach this section of the practice, the words that you don't know, for example, vehement, biased, hostile, make a quick note of them. Check them out later. It's not just about learning this word or that word. You need to know all of these words because CSEC might recycle some of these other words in other questions, or they might just use similar level vocabulary for other questions. So you say a strange word, you don't know the word, dictionary. And if you really want to master this section, don't just use a dictionary, also use a thesaurus. So you see synonyms. All right, let's move on to another year. Let's get to 2004. And we're looking for antonyms. This is another question CSEC really enjoys putting on papers. The manager decided to inform the staff about all complaints received from customers. What is the opposite of a complaint? Opposite of a complaint. Team D. While you're answering, write the number as well, so I know what number you are on. All right, I'm seeing some D's, and D would be correct. Compliment. Of course, a complaint, you're mentioning something critical, something negative about something or someone. Compliment, you're mentioning something positive that you like about something or someone. So these would be proper antonyms. Proper antonyms. All right, 2. There was a decline in airplane travel after September 11, 2001. Hopefully you guys know what happened on that fateful day. There was a decline in airplane travel after September 11, 2001. Opposite, so we're looking at opposites, opposite of decline. We know decline means decrease, go down. So the opposite would have to be to increase or to rise. So it's D. Someone said it's A. Someone said D. In fact, this isn't even decrease. This is a disease. So yeah, decline, opposite. We're looking for antonyms, guys. If you're just joining, we're looking for antonyms in this section. Opposites. So the opposite of decline is rise. What about fluctuation? This is another word that CSEC likes. Fluctuate means to go up and down, to be unsteady or unstable in terms of numbers. So if you have a graph and the graph is looking like this, up, down, for example, well, this looks like a heartbeat monitor, right? So say this is the price of oil, and today it's $3. Down here it's 2, back to 3, then it goes to 5. We can say that the price of oil is fluctuating, or there's a fluctuation in the price of oil, right? So we have rise or increase, we have decline or decrease or fall, and this here would be the fluctuation, right? And what if after this fluctuation here, the price settles? Then we have what we could call a stagnation, right? In the price, stagnation or stabilization. These are words we could use to describe the price being constant. All right. All right, let's get rid of this madness. All right, are we on the same page? Number 3. The compassionate man was known by many in the crowd. These questions really lack context most times. And so it's difficult to guess the meaning if you don't already know it. For example, this word could mean anything here. The question doesn't give you much context. The compassionate man was known by many in the crowd. We're looking for an opposite. So if you're compassionate, you care about people, and synonyms could possibly be empathetic, sympathetic, words like that, words that show that you are moved by, the pain of others and you try to help. So what would be the opposite of that? If you're not compassionate, if you are the opposite of compassionate, then what are you? I'm seeing A, B, and C. So many C's. Why am I seeing so many C's? What's happening? So this is the scale, right? Over here we have evil. Over here we have good. Right? We have evil on the left, we have good on the right. All right? Compassionate is over here. Very good. You guys are talking about indifferent. Indifferent is right here in the middle. Indifferent means you are neither good nor evil. You're neither happy nor sad. You are neither helping nor hurting. There's just no emotional response, no emotional investment. But it doesn't mean that it's the opposite of compassionate. What we're looking for is the word that is here, close to evil, cruel. Yeah, cruel. We're looking for opposites, opposites. Yeah. The opposite of left is not middle, it's right. Right? Opposites. All right, let's go to 4. In these difficult economic times, many organizations retrench workers only when absolutely necessary. This is a tough one, but it's also one that I've seen in at least 5 papers. It's tough because this isn't a word we see every day. Retrench. I'm seeing some C's. Your teacher said it is indifferent. No comment. This is my comment right here. This is all the comment I have for this question. We're looking for the opposite. Not just the word that's different in meaning, the word that is opposite in meaning. All right, so to retrench means to hire or dismiss. Let me read a dictionary definition for you guys. Retrench, to cut down or reduce, to terminate the employment of a worker, or to reduce the size of a workforce, or to make redundant. So this is what retrenching is. So a synonym might be dismiss. We're looking for an antonym. What's the opposite of letting people go? Taking people on, employing people. Yeah. Demoting wouldn't be an opposite of retrench at all, because if you demote somebody, they're still working for you. They're still employed. So the opposite of retrench would be employ. All right, let's jump to 5. Take notes of these difficult words, write them down so you can check them out later and ensure you know them. While the employers approved of his work habits, they objected to his radical views. Radical is a word you will happen upon if you're listening to political discussions. I'm not sure if the live will be available afterwards. I hope it will be. Sorry about that. While the employers approved of his work habits, they objected to his radical views. Radical means extreme, wild, out of this world ideas. Right? Radical. The opposite of that would be conventional. These are the things we are used to. Fashionable? Someone said, see, what paper are you working? We're looking for the opposite of radical. Let me find radical in the dictionary. Radical, favoring fundamental change, or at the root cause of a change, right? Now let me look for conventional. Pertaining to a convention as in following generally accepted principles, ordinary, commonplace, right? So radical, trying to make, if you have radical views, radical philosophies, then you might disagree with the norm and you want to make some extreme changes. You want to, you know, see a world that is completely different. Whereas conventional, you're sticking to the traditional stuff, and basically, why am I seeing some arguments happening in the chat? Your teacher said that is wrong. All right, look, I can't talk about number 3 anymore. Read what sentence? Are we still on number 3? Guys, we have over 100 questions to work, you know. We can't be stuck on number 3. Let's move along. All right. So anyway, the opposite of radical, conventional. Oh. All right, let's run along. Let's run along. That was June 2004. Someone is saying it's not B, it's not B, it's not B. What is not B? Let me know what you guys are saying. What are you saying? Are you on number 3? Let me know before I run along to the next paper. What is this B conversation happening? Are we on number 3 still? Number 5? How would B is not even in the conversation for number 5? We're looking for the opposite of radical. Have you guys ever heard of extremists, radicalists, or someone trying to radicalize a particular idea, right? These radicalists, the people who try to radicalize things, they are the ones who take things to the extreme. And very often when we talk about acts of terrorism, acts of terror, we talk about radicalists, people with radical views, wild, strange, out there viewpoints. The opposite would have to be conventional. That's the opposite of being out there. Conventional means we're sticking to the norm, sticking to the tradition, and we're doing what we have been doing for years and years. That's the opposite of radical. Informed has nothing to do with either conventional or radical. Right. All right. Let's jump along to June 2004 again. Oh, yeah. The same paper. So we have synonyms this time. In my church, my pastor said to get radical. Yeah, so get radical with worship. What he's saying is, you know, worship hard. Go hard with the praise. Go crazy with the worship, basically. So jump and dance if you want. Conventional would mean you just sit and you sing Rock of Ages and you're not even clapping your hands. Radical would mean, you know, in that context, upbeat, flashy, stuff like that. Yeah. All right. We're on to synonyms. Each of the sentences in this section has one underlined word. Choose from the 4 options which is nearest in meaning. Oh my gosh, we're back to profusely. CSEC, come on. No need to even spend any time on this. Plentifully. Right? Plentifully. We've discussed this word already, so we're just going to move along from there. Profusely, plentifully. And what's interesting about this question, if you do not know what the word profusely means, it's very difficult to guess it here because all of these words are kind of sensible. The flowers could have grown wildly or healthily or colorfully, right? So you just have to know. You either know or you don't know. Number 12. Context clues can be used for this one as well. for this one. The news story revealed the squalor of the old prison cells. When you get questions like these, pay attention to all the hints that you can get. Pay attention to the adjectives. So we have old here. Old, and these are prison cells. So what would we expect? Yeah. The news story revealed the squalor of the old prison cells. Looking for synonyms. Squalor, filthiness, dinginess. Yeah. Think about a pig's sty. Squalor. Ambience is kind of the opposite. Ambience is this kind of nice, atmospheric, scenic environment where you can relax. That's the opposite of what we're looking for here. Strength doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It just doesn't make sense. And security, it doesn't really make sense if you look at the question, because the news story revealed something. So what would a news story be revealing? Why would a news story be revealing the security? Obviously, prisons should be secure, right? But the news story is kind of exposing something. Maybe the prison cells should not be this filthy. And so the question kind of gives us a hint. Yeah. All right, 13. Although she had visited the site on many occasions, nothing had prepared her for the grandeur of the sunset on that day. English B students who have done God's grandeur in the past. You should know what this word means. If you're not seeing the paper clearly, turn up your the quality on your video, because the quality is very high on my end. 13. Grandeur. Grandeur is basically the same as splendor. Both of these words are perfect synonyms talking about this grand beauty, usually associated with natural, scenic settings. So you can enjoy the nice, graceful sunshine, nice, crisp wind, cool, clear, crystal waters. This is grandeur, natural beauty, right? Grandeur can be colorful, but it doesn't have to be colorful, so it wouldn't be A. Gaudiness is in a sense close to grandeur, but it's like someone showing off their own bling. So if I walked in and I'm showing off with my chain and stuff like that, that would more be gaudiness. It's not that calm, serene, natural beauty that is being spoken of in the question. All right. I'm gonna move along, but if you guys want me to backtrack a little bit, let me know, because I'm watching the comments. I'm seeing what you guys are saying. 14. For the first time in a decade, the company disclosed a deficit in its accounts. This is another word that CSEC enjoys putting on papers. Deficit. In fact, this question has been repeated a few times, I think. For the first time in a decade, the company disclosed what? What did they disclose? Yeah, shortfall. Basically, they would have lost money. They made less money this year than before, or they lost more money than they made, right? Shortfall, deficit. Let's go to 15. It was impossible to rectify the error made by the computer since inaccurate information had been fed to it. You can easily use the question itself to figure out what rectify means. If you put inaccurate information into a computer and the error comes up, then what happens? Oh, I'm seeing all the C's. There we go. Correct. Correct is correct. To rectify means to fix, to correct. Yeah. Rectify the situation, rectify the problem. Shirley, on what I'm doing, I'm going category by category. So I'm working this particular type of question first. We're going to get the groove rolling with synonyms and antonyms. I have many other question types, but I'm working with these first. I'm going to do at least one more live stream. Maybe this live stream will just be different types of vocabulary and grammar questions. All right, I've jumped to a new paper. This one is May 2005. We're looking for synonyms again. Nearest in meaning. Words nearest in meaning. Oh my gosh, CSEC, you've done it again. The prize-winning garden boasted a profusion of rare plants. Someone says, why not D for 15? Oh, well, because rectified does not mean determine. That's why not D. Rectify means to fix or solve a problem. Yeah. And I mean, determine actually wouldn't make sense here when you think about it. The question is saying it was impossible to rectify the error made by the computer since inaccurate information had been fed to it. Of course, you would still be able to determine what the error is. It just wouldn't be able to fix it, right? You still be able to determine what the error is. They would have determined an error, or otherwise the question wouldn't have existed. Yeah. Someone knows that there's an error made, so that has been determined already. All right, so number one, we're going to see this word a lot. We're going to see this word quite often. Abundance. Profusion, abundance. Profuse, abundant. Number two, oh, this again. The Strickland family thanked the entire community for their benevolence. All right, type your answer for number two quickly. Let me see if you're awake, because you've seen this one before. Seen this before, haven't we? Yep. Kindness. Benevolence, kindness, generosity. Number three, we've seen this before also. The bookkeeper said that our account was dormant. 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 Dormant, inactive. And if you've ever opened a bank account and just left it there for years, it becomes dormant. That's what happens. You open an account, you don't make any withdrawals or any deposits. After a while, the account becomes dormant, and if it's dormant for too long, it shuts down. They shut it down. 4. During the final stages of the trial, a new witness was called to corroborate the testimony of the accused. Corroborate. New witness was called to corroborate the testimony. So we're on number 4. Seeing some B's. Are you guys sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? B. Yeah, B. Confirm. So you can imagine the court scene. Someone walks up and says, hey, I saw the killer wearing green pants. And they would have called a new witness, and that new witness would have to testify to the color of the pants. What color pants was the suspect wearing? Green. And so now the testimony would have been corroborated or confirmed, because 2 people saw the green pants, so the pants might have been green. Corroborate, confirm. Yeah. All right, 5. We're asking that you make use of the expertise to help us to train some students. Expertise. Number 5. D. Are these D's for number 4 or 5? Seeing D and A for 5. Which is it? Five, skill. If you're an expert, it means you're skilled. It doesn't mean you're necessarily experienced. You might be experienced, but you're definitely skilled, right? Yeah. Expertise, skill. Let's jump along. Opposites again. Now we're on to May 2006. Have I hit any of you guys' birth year yet? All right. We're looking for opposites. Opposites, yeah. After the story was published in the newspaper, his colleagues ostracized him. Ostracized. What does it mean to ostracize? We're looking for opposites. While you're writing your answer, write the number as well, so I know what you're referring to. Persons are joining the stream at different times. So someone is still on number 4, for example. So this story was published in the newspaper, and then it was ostracized. So if someone is ostracized, it means they're kind of being pushed out of a group. They're being shunned, rejected, exiled. The opposite of all this is being accepted, being welcomed, being embraced. Yeah. So the opposite of ostracized, accept. 12. The celebrated author published his second novel when he was only 21. Second novel at 21, not bad. I think I published my first novel at 21. This guy is good. Learned it from anime, Jalen. I've learned so many words from anime, so many words, and so many philosophies too. So we're at 12. The celebrated author, we're looking for antonyms, opposites. All right, so in this case, celebrated kind of means well known, famous. People love this guy. So the opposite of that would be unknown. Nobody knows this guy. All right. 13. As far as I'm concerned, the lattice windows are the most conspicuous feature on the building. And this is one of the tougher questions in this section. One of the tougher questions. Do you know what conspicuous means? As far as I'm concerned, the lattice windows are the most conspicuous. What's the opposite of conspicuous? I'm seeing D. I'm seeing C and many B's. Seeing some B's. Yeah, so if something is conspicuous, it is clearly visible, it is obvious, it is a standout feature. If it's inconspicuous, then it's insignificant. It's not something that you're going to notice at all. Yeah. So in this case, and context is important when we're looking at the meanings of these words, right? Imagine you're looking at a house or a mansion and you have the lattice windows, right? If the lattice windows are conspicuous, it means people are going to walk past and they're going to notice, wow, look at those windows. They're amazing. They're so unique, right? And so the windows would have been a significant part of the design. But if the windows are insignificant or inconspicuous, it means no one would really pay attention to them. They wouldn't draw attention to themselves. Yeah. All right, 14. As a result of the available evidence, the landlord was apprehended. Opposite of apprehended. And this one is easy with the context of the sentence. If available evidence comes up, then what's going to happen? Apprehended means arrested. Opposite, released. 15. This is a tricky one. And this is one that, oh man, I remember one or two videos that I did, the comment section, every couple of days someone would ask me about this particular question. Not on this paper, but the same question repeated on a more recent paper. She seems to be sensitive to the feelings of others. It was a slightly different question, I think. I think that question was about synonyms. This one is about antonyms. She seemed to be sensitive to the feelings of others. I think it was the same question, same exact question. Oh boy, here we go with the C's. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. You see, you guys need to know the difference between connotation and denotation. She seems to be sensitive to the feelings of others. Unaffected makes sense. All right. You know what? Let me break down. Let me break down this phrase, sensitive to. Because I knew that this would have happened. I knew I was going to say all of these C's. Let me break down sensitive to. The word sensitive comes from sense. What is sense? We have five, let's say five primary senses. We have more than five senses. But from primary school, we've been here, we have five senses. What do these five senses enable us to do? Our eyes. What is the purpose of an eye? I'm not talking about class right now, no, Tim. I'm not talking about class at all. Your senses, your eyes and your ears, these are tools of perception, tools that provide us with awareness. Your senses make you aware of the world around you. Your sense of touch, when I touch this pencil, I'm aware that it's right here, that it exists. Whether or not I'm affected by anything, I'm aware of it. My eyes make me aware of the camera in front of me. Awareness. If you're sensitive to something, it doesn't mean you're affected by it. You may be affected by it, but if you're sensitive to something, it means you have a keen awareness of it. Let me look up sensitive to in a thesaurus, and I'll show you guys what I find. Because some of you won't take my word for it, you know. Wait, give me a moment, guys. Oh, sorry. I thought that was an earthquake happening in my house. It wasn't an earthquake. All right. What was I saying? Let me find sensitive to. And then sensitive to is a little bit different from sensitive just by itself. Sensitive to is what is underlined here. Sensitive to, not just sensitive. I'm going to show you. I typed in sensitive to in my thesaurus. Wait, let me show you guys. Let me show you what's going on. All right, this is sensitive to. Sensitive to. Hopefully this thing focuses sometime soon. You see the top synonyms? Alive to, aware of, awake to, sentient, conscious of, sensible of, alert to. I'll know when I reach affected by. Guys, if you are sensitive to something, if you're sensitive to something, then you are aware of it. So this person who is sensitive to the feelings of others, it means that she is able to pick up on different emotional cues, right? So if someone close by her is upset, right? If someone close by her is upset, or if someone close by her is feeling gloomy, feeling sad, then she will be able to pick up on that and realize and recognize that. Right? Sensitive to, aware of. So the opposite would be unaware of. All right, let's jump to some more questions. January 2007. Looking at antonyms. All right, looking at antonyms. Number 11. Number 11. Looking at antonyms. And guess what? See, you're not seeing the questions? You should be seeing the questions right now. Yes, Susan. No problem. We're on to number 11. And look at this. CSEC is going to confirm what I just talked about when it comes to being sensitive to. So the performance appeared to have been oblivious of the heckling of the audience. So if you're oblivious, what does it mean? If you're oblivious, you have no idea what's going on. You're unable to see what's going on around you. Oblivious. The opposite would be aware of. Yeah, aware. So a synonym for oblivious would be unaware. Antonym, aware. 12. The president of the Students Association never mentioned the treasurer's integrity. In other words, CSEC likes integrity. I'm seeing some C's and D's for number 12. Integrity means honesty, morality, trustworthiness, dependability. So the opposite of all of that, dishonesty. Yeah. 13. At the sound of the bell, the lower forms went reluctantly back to their classrooms. At the sound of the bell, the lower forms went reluctantly back to their classrooms. Looking for the opposite of reluctantly. Opposite, willingly. Yeah, if you're reluctant, then you don't want to do something. You do it unwillingly. Opposite, willingly. 14. The guest speaker's address was devoid of humor. Devoid of humor. Devoid of humor means there wasn't even a single joke. There was nothing. Nobody laughed. Nobody cracked a smile. Opposite, full of. Um, quite often I see devoid of life or devoid of feeling. Yeah, no life, no feeling. You know, most planets in our solar system are likely devoid of life. Yeah. 15. Every effort was made to avert the chance of failure. And the sentence gives this one away with context clues. There's only one sensible answer here. 15. Every effort was made to avert. So avert means to avoid or escape, get away from. Opposite would be to ensure. Every effort was made to avert the chance of failure. Opposite of averting is ensuring. All right. Now we have moved on to an ugly paper, June 2008. We're looking for antonyms now, opposites. Can you guys read this? It's not a good looking paper at all. After the story was published in the newspaper, his colleagues ostracized him. Oh, we've seen this question before. Give me an answer for 11. We've seen this before, so we should be able to run through this one. Yeah. Ostracized. Opposite, accepted. Ostracize, criticize and push away and banish. Opposite, accept. 12. Oh, wow. Same question again. I guess the whole section was repeated, perhaps. The celebrated author published his second novel when he was only 21. All right, we're going to run through because we know these questions, right? Opposite would be unknown. Okay, here's a new one. The headgear worn by the factory worker is made from artificial material. We're on to 13. Looking for opposites. It's the opposite of artificial. Opposite of artificial has to be natural. Artificial means, actually, these three are synonyms. Artificial means synthetic, man made, or prefabricated. So the only possible answer would be natural. Easy one. And we won't spend time on the repeat questions. As far as I'm concerned, conspicuous, the opposite would be insignificant. And we already know this one. All right. Let's jump to January 2010. Oh, we've seen this one before already. We've seen this one before as well. Opposite. The manager decided to inform the staff about all complaints just to see if you're awake. What's the answer for number one? You get this one wrong, you need some coffee. This one is easy. We've seen it before. Yeah. Opposite of a complaint, compliment. We've seen this one before. I guess we've seen all of these before. There was a decline in airplane travel after September 11, 2001. Those towers collapsed. Yeah, decline, increase, opposite of that. Decline, decrease, opposite of that, rise or increase. The compassionate man was known by all in the crowd. Compassionate, doing good things. Who is saying C? What's happening? Omar, why are you saying C? I've typed compassionate into my nice little app here that displays antonyms. Look at what comes up. What is the top antonym? Can you see it? Look at the top antonym. Top antonym for compassionate, cruel. What's the name of this app? Man, this is the greatest app in the universe. The name is, I think it's called Power Thesaurus. It gives you definitions, synonyms, antonyms, sentences for words. You can give you 50, even 100 synonyms if you want. All right, number 4. Retrench, opposite of retrench. All right, number 4, opposite of retrench. Oh, sorry. You're looking at my face. My bad. All right, here we are. My bad, my bad. Opposite of retrench, employ. To retrench means to let go or fire, basically. 5, opposite of radical. Let's see if we are remembering well. This isn't about memorizing answers, but we should be learning the meanings of these words. And if the words aren't clear, turn up the quality on your video. Opposite of radical, conventional. Yeah. One is extreme. Radical is extreme and different and new. Conventional is traditional and old and safe and normal. All right, let's jump to more questions from January 2020. Wow, we've seen these questions already. So let's blitz. 11. The flowers grow profusely. Just let me know in the chat real quick that you at least remember CSEC's favorite question. 11. Yeah, I'm seeing the seas profusely, plentifully. Squalor. The news story revealed the squalor of the old prison cells. Looking for synonyms. Filthiness. Although she had visited the site on many occasions, nothing had prepared her for the grandeur of the sunset on that day. Grandeur, the natural beauty, the nice sun, and the wind, trees dancing. Grandeur, splendor. Yeah. For the first time in a decade, the company disclosed a deficit in its accounts. Deficit. Deficit. 14. We're moving quickly. Try to keep up in the chat. Deficit, shortfall. That's right. 15. It was impossible to rectify the error made by the computer since inaccurate information had been fed into it. Oh, Jaden with the super chat. Respect. Thanks, man. You're saying that's not a lot? That's a lot. I'm a poor man. That's a lot for me. Yeah. Big up yourself. Yeah. Rectify. It was impossible to rectify. 15, correct. That's correct. Yeah, Jaden, buy me lunch for tomorrow. All right, bam. This paper is from January 2011. We're looking for antonyms, opposites. All right, here we go. We found her appreciative of the help that we had given her on this matter. We found her appreciative of the help that we had given her on this matter. Appreciative of. We're looking for opposites. Opposites. Opposites, ungrateful. Yeah. So we found her appreciative. If you are appreciative of something, then you're giving thanks for it. You're showing appreciation. You're grateful. Yeah. For example, for a $5 super chat, yeah, I'll be very grateful for that. So the opposite of that would be ungrateful. Ungrateful. Yeah. All right. 12. While the employers approved of his work habits, they objected to his radical views. And this is another repeat question. Radical. Opposite of radical. Opposite of radical, conservative. All right. 13. At the sound of the bell, the lower forms went reluctantly back to their classrooms. Reluctantly, another repeat question. Yeah. 13. Opposite of reluctantly, willingly. Reluctantly means unwillingly. So the opposite would have to be willingly. 14. The guest speaker's address was devoid of humor. Yet another repeat question. Devoid of. Devoid of. Yeah. Devoid of means there's none there. Opposite would have to be full of. What is someone saying about? Oh yeah, for 12, conventional means the same as conservative, so it's fine. I didn't even notice, but it's the same meaning. Conservative or conventional, same meaning. So this would still be the answer. Yeah. All right. Last one here. Another repeat question. As a result of the available evidence, the landlord was apprehended. Apprehended. Yeah, some of you guys are getting faster in the chat. Yeah, apprehended. Yeah, to be apprehended is to be captured or arrested. The opposite would be released. All right, done with that. And now we're at May 2012. Another repeat question. We're looking for opposites again. Opposites. The headgear worn by the factory worker is made from artificial material. What is the opposite of artificial? Opposite of artificial is natural, right? Artificial is synthetic or man-made or fake, something that doesn't occur naturally, something that isn't genuine in some senses. All right, 7. His character was such that he was always daunted by a challenge. This is a new question. As far. He was always daunted by a challenge. C. I'm seeing C and D for number 7. Seems to be a tricky one. His character was such that he was always daunted. So if you're daunted, it means you are discouraged. Now you want to give up. You face a challenge and you say, oh man, this is too much. I can't deal with this. So the opposite would be encouraged. Let me read you guys the definition for daunted. Daunted, mildly afraid or worried by some upcoming situation. So the opposite would be encouraged. Yeah. 8. The tourist brochure gave verbose accounts of the carnival festivities of last year. What's the opposite of verbose? I think one paper had the noun verbosity. Yeah, so verbose means long-winded, wordy, chat too much. Yeah. Opposite of that would be concise. Concise. Or brief. Yeah. Verbosity, opposite of verbosity, brevity, something like that. Or conciseness. All right, number 8. Having thought about it, I find the idea quite repugnant. This sentence doesn't give you any help with context clues. You just have to know the meaning. Repugnant. I find the idea quite repugnant. Number 9. So if something is repugnant, it is disgusting. Something is repugnant, you don't want anything to do with it, right? A smell can be repugnant, an idea, a thought can be repugnant. The opposite of that would have to be attractive. You're drawn to it, right? 10. The candidate was, we've seen this word before in a previous question. The candidate was oblivious of our plans. And I think it's more common to see oblivious to. Yeah, I think so. The candidate was oblivious of our plans. Yeah, oblivious means you have no idea what's going on around you, you're unaware. Opposite would have to be aware of. All right, bam. Moving on to May 2013. We're opposites again. We're looking for antonyms again. And I won't waste time on number 1. We've just covered it. Verbose, opposite, concise. Right? We looked at that just seconds ago. We looked at this a while ago too. Do you remember? Number 2's answer. We found her appreciative of the help that we had given to her on this matter. Opposite of appreciative of. We've done this before. Ungrateful for. Yeah? Easy one. Okay, here's a new one. As a result of the need for trained staff, the firm had to dismiss several workers. The firm had to dismiss several workers. Opposite of dismiss. Actually, this word is quite similar to a word we've seen before. It's quite similar to the word retrench. Yeah. So the opposite of dismiss or retrench or fire. These words are all very close in meaning. Opposite would be to employ. Right? Easy. The headgear worn, oh, I can't look at this question again. We've seen this like 3 times, no? Opposite of artificial, natural. 5, this is a new one. The old lady enjoyed making malicious remarks to everyone she met. Malicious. We got number 5. The old lady enjoyed making malicious remarks to everyone she met. I'm seeing A's and B's. I'm seeing how many A's and how many B's. I'm seeing mostly A's, 1B, 1D. All right, so if something is malicious, it's spiteful. There's, negative intent, ill intent. The opposite of this is actually kind, but honestly, B is a very close runner-up. B is close, but A is closer. Yeah, A is closer. Malicious. Let me give you some synonyms for malicious. malevolent, spiteful, mean, vicious, nasty, evil, cruel, unkind, malignant, vindictive, venomous, catty, wicked, hateful, hurtful, sinister. These are all malicious. Let me give you some antonyms for malicious. Using my handy app, antonyms for malicious. Top of the list, you have kind, then benevolent, kind-hearted, cushion-hearted, loving, good, sympathetic, considerate. Yeah. So it's not quite polite, it's more kind for the opposite. All right, let's run along. Let's jump to, what year is this one? January 2014. Okay. We're moving along. We're moving. We're getting somewhere. The manager decided, no, we cannot read this question again. Complaint, compliment. So you've seen this too many times. We've also seen this one too many times. Do you guys mind if I just skip through the ones we've seen too many times? Do you mind if I just skip over those? Or do you want to rework through them? Because I feel like skipping over them. What do you say? No, we can just run through the ones we've seen many times, right? Yeah. Yeah, let's be more efficient with the time. So decline, we already know the opposite of decline is rise. Oh, this is kind of a new one. So let's work it. They lived in a large, sprawling, dilapidated house. Opposite of dilapidated. This one is actually tricky. If you're looking for context clues, this one would trip you up. Because large and sprawling don't really match the third adjective. Right? So they lived in a large, sprawling, dilapidated house. If it's dilapidated, it's broken down, it's unkempt, it's torn down. It's not looking very, very neat and tidy and clean. So the opposite would be well kept. Well kept. Yeah. 4. We've seen this one before. To retrench means to dismiss or fire. So the opposite would have to be to employ. Okay, number 5. Constructive criticism is appreciated and encouraged by some of our peers. Constructive criticism is appreciated. What is the opposite of constructive here? I don't like this question because there's no perfect antonym, but the closest antonym we have is negative. In this case, constructive can mean positive because it is criticism that is meant to build you up. It's not criticism meant to insult and hurt you, right? They're criticizing you so that you can improve. So the opposite would be negative criticism, which is just meant to hurt your feelings, basically. I guess that's the idea CSEC had. All right, we're on to June 2015. We're approaching the present. We're at the era of beautiful scans. We're looking for opposites. She paid meticulous attention to her work as she attached the beads to the costume. So imagine someone attaching beads to a costume, paying meticulous attention to their work. What is the opposite of meticulous? Opposite, scant. And actually, these 3 are synonyms, kinda. Meticulous means careful, detailed, cautious. These all match meticulous. Scant means, we often hear the phrase scant regard, very little respect for something or a rule or a person. Yeah. Well, we talked about scant before, being scanty being the opposite of profuse or something like that, meaning not much of it is there. So if something is scanty, it's very sparse and there isn't much quantity, right? So meticulous attention, close attention, a lot of attention being paid. Scant attention would mean she's putting on the beats, but she's also doing many different things, not really focusing. All right, two, we've seen this time and time again. Appreciative means grateful, so the opposite must be ungrateful. All right, you guys said I'm allowed to skip over the questions you've seen many times, so I'm doing that. As a result of the need, we've already seen this. Opposite of dismiss is employ. And we've seen this one at least 100 times. Artificial, opposite natural. Sensitive to, unaware of. Yeah, we've seen these before. Let's run to January 2017. We're looking for opposites, antonyms. Here we are. The manager decided to inform the staff about all complaints. Oh, we've seen this one as well. My goodness. All complaints received from customers. We've seen this. Opposite of a complaint would have to be a compliment. Yeah. Basically, bad comments versus good comments. And we've seen this one so many times. Opposite of decline, increase. Oh, by the way, do you know upheaval? We should be checking all of these strange words. I'm not sure if I've ever seen this be an answer to any question. But do you guys know the meaning? What's an upheaval? Just type yes or no in the chat if you know upheaval. Be honest. Upheaval. You guys are answering number 3 already, and I'm still stuck on upheaval. What's upheaval? An upheaval is like a disruption or like a violent upsurge. So we sometimes use it in senses where people are rising up against the government and stuff like that, trying to kind of rebel. It's very close to rebellion and stuff and words like that. So it wouldn't make any sense at all in this question. It's just an impossible word. CSEC just threw that in for fun. All right, 3, in these difficult economic times, different sentence with the same word, right? Many organizations retrench workers only when absolutely necessary. All right, do we know number 3? Different sentence, but we've seen retrench before. So we know that the opposite would have to be employ. 4, we've seen this before. Radical, opposite conventional, or there's another word that was the answer at one point. Conventional or conservative, right? Okay, here's a new one finally. Many teenagers and even some parents do not agree with the amount of restrictiveness in today's society. Restrictiveness. We're on to number 5. We're moving quickly. Restrictiveness. If you are being restricted, if there's restrictiveness, it means you're not able, you're not permitted, you're not allowed to do certain things. Opposite, permissiveness, where anything goes, do anything you want. We're on to May 2017. We're looking for opposites again. It seems antonyms are a more popular question type than synonyms for CSEC. All right, number 1, We've seen this already. We know that the opposite of appreciative of is ungrateful for. Seen there, been there, done that. Been there, done that. Been there, done that. I'm not wasting your time because we've seen all of these. The speaker's address was devoid of humor. Yeah. I won't waste the guys' time. We've seen all of these questions just moments prior. All right, we're on to May 2018. He was eager to share the news. We're looking for opposites again. He was eager to share the news with his friends. What is the opposite of eager? He was eager to share the news. Eager, eager, eager. Let me see a number 6. Yeah, if you're eager, then you can't wait to share the news, right? Opposite would be reluctant. You don't want to share the news. Reluctant or unwilling. 7. We just looked at this. Permissiveness, restrictiveness. Yeah. I think they flipped the question and answer in the previous paper, on the previous paper, right? Yeah, restrictiveness, permissiveness. Permissiveness, restrictiveness. All right, number 8. We've seen this before as well. Every effort was made to avert the chance of failure. Do you guys remember the meaning of avert? Looking for the opposite of avert. Yeah, opposite, ensure. Avert, you're trying to escape or avoid something. Ensure, you're trying to make sure that it happens. Opposites. 9, the president of the, okay, we've seen this before. Integrity, opposite dishonesty. So when you say integrity, you can think honesty, right? 10, we've seen this so many times. Let's move along. It's January 2019. Here we go. The distinguished actor avoided the press whenever he was on holidays. Looking for opposites, by the way. The distinguished actor avoided the press. What would be the opposite of avoiding or trying to escape the press, the media? Yeah, opposite would be contacted. Come on, come interview me right now. Opposite of trying to run away from them. There was a decline of, we know what this incident is, right? This is the same 2001 incident that they're tired of typing out. Anyway, we already know a decline increase. Paul's attitude to visiting the cave was one of indifference. We're on to number 3. Opposite of indifference. Opposite of indifference is enthusiasm. If you're indifferent, it means you just don't care. No energy, no emotion, no nothing. Enthusiasm, you care. You have an emotional response, you're excited. Yeah. 4, being friendly and helpful is characteristics of most persons from that area of the country. Oh, being friendly and helpful is characteristic of many persons from that era of the country. Yeah, Venom. You say you're a native speaker and you don't know what most of these words mean. These are fairly advanced words. Some of them. We don't use these words in daily conversation, but we do see them a lot in reading and writing. So if something is characteristic of someone, Kimmy, welcome. If something is characteristic of someone, it means it's a part of their character, part of their personality. It's what you would expect them to be like. So being friendly and helpful is characteristic of most persons. So this is like the regular behavior of these people. Opposite of that would be uncommon in. Another way to say uncommon in would be would be uncharacteristic of. Uncharacteristic of. So if I say being friendly is uncharacteristic of Mary, it means Mary isn't usually friendly. If I say being friendly is characteristic of Mary, it means Mary is usually friendly. All right, number 5. Many teenagers. Okay, we've seen this too many times. So let's move on. On to May 2019. Opposites again. And I'm gonna jump over the repeated ones. Appreciative of, ungrateful for. Yeah, unusual of would be another good one there for uncommon of. Okay, number 2 is a new one. Their actions showed that they were firm in their rejection of the new law. What's the opposite of a rejection? Acceptance. If you reject it, you do not accept it, right? If you accept it, you do not reject it. Mutual exclusive. Constructive criticism is neither appreciated nor encouraged by some of our peers. We've seen a very similar question just moments before. We saw one just moments before. Yeah, constructive criticism in this case could be considered positive criticism. Criticism that is meant to encourage growth and improvement, opposite of which would be negative criticism. 4. They always displayed a lackadaisical approach to their studies, so no one was surprised at the results. Lackadaisical, lackadaisical. All right, so lackadaisical means carefree or lazy. So these would actually be synonyms. And this is kind of a synonym. Opposite of lackadaisical, keen. Keen in this case means diligent, right? Diligent. 5. We've seen this before, apprehended, released. Right. On to more questions from May 2019. Nearest in meaning, so we're looking for synonyms now. Synonyms. right? As usual, I'm going to skip over the questions we've seen many times. We've seen this one. It was impossible to rectify. To rectify means to correct or fix. We've seen this one before as well. The bank teller indicated that our account was dormant, inactive. The news story revealed the squalor, filthiness. We've seen these before. A citizen is expected to show complete allegiance. We've seen this before. Loyalty. We've seen all of these before, right? For the first time, deficit shortfall. Tell me if I'm going too quickly, but I think we've seen all of these before. June 2020. Oh man, I think we have exhausted the questions. These are being repeated again. Sensitive to, opposite, unaware of. Restrictiveness, permissiveness, eager, reluctant. We've seen this before. Integrity. Have we seen this one? Yep. Dishonesty. Radical, conventional. Let me know. Let me know if I'm going too fast. Am I going too fast? Are we on pace? Are we good? Because we've seen all of these before. Are you remembering these questions? Let me know if I should slow down and backpedal, or if we're moving at a good pace. We're almost done with this type of question. All right. January 2021. Slow down. One person said I should slow down. All right, let me go a little bit slow, right? But I'm only kind of speeding through the questions we've seen 2 or 3 or 4 times before. But let me go a little bit slow still. The distinguished actor avoided the press. We've seen this before. We're looking for the opposite. All right, we're looking for the opposite. The distinguished actor avoided the press. Opposite of avoided, let me see your answers. We've seen it before, but I'll slow down for those who want me to slow down. Yeah, opposite of avoided, contacted. The compassionate man was known by many in the crowd. I'm sure you remember what compassionate means. If you're compassionate, then you will show kindness to others. The opposite of showing kindness is showing cruelty, being cruel to others. As far as I'm concerned, the lattice windows are the most conspicuous feature on the building. As you guys should remember, if something is conspicuous, it stands out, it's easily noticed. If something is insignificant, then it is easily overlooked because it's not really important, right? Okay, this one is new. It seemed probable that the country will maintain the curfew for another week. And how many classes do I have tomorrow? Four. Number four, it seemed probable. So if something is probable, it means there's a good chance that it's going to happen. So it's likely. Synonym for probable is likely. So the opposite would be unlikely. Right? Inevitable means it's unavoidable. It will happen. Undecided means undecided, the decision, someone has not come to a decision. Impudent has nothing to do with this. Many teenagers and even some parents do not agree with the amount of restrictiveness in today's society. We've also seen this one before. Restrictiveness. Yeah, opposite, permissiveness. Restrictiveness comes from restrict. Permissiveness comes from permit. All right, let's jump down to May 2021. Actually, I'm gonna skip four of these questions. I'm gonna skip four of these questions. Sorry if it's too fast for those who are just joining. I can't look at these questions again. We're looking for opposites. Complaint, compliment, rejection, acceptance. You've seen these many times, many times. Increase, decline. Here's a new one. He tried to think of a tactful way to tell her he disagreed with her view of the situation. Let's look at number 4. Tactful. I've seen many answers for number 4, but I still am not seeing the correct answer at all. We're looking for the opposite of tactful. Do you guys know what tactful means? Let me read out the definition of tactful. Possessing tact, able to deal with people in a sensitive manner. Let me plug that into my thesaurus. Synonyms for tactful: discreet, diplomatic, considerate, delicate, judicious, sensitive, thoughtful, polite, careful. So if you're tactful in how you speak, you're speaking in a way that will not hurt someone's feelings. Even if you're telling them something that sounds negative, you're telling them in a way that's not as harsh as possible. Yeah. So even if it means beating around the bush or being indirect, you're trying to, not insult or hurt anyone. That's the meaning of tactful. The opposite of that would be injurious, which is not a word that we ever hear. But we know it has to be the answer because it comes from injure, which means to hurt or harm. And this wouldn't be physically, this would be verbally, to emotionally hurt someone by insulting them. So it's a weird word. It's not a word we see every day, but this is the only possible answer. Honest doesn't have anything to do with tactfulness at all. Considerate is actually kind of a synonym for tactful. And indifferent just means not showing any emotion. So it has to be B, injurious. Not a word I've never seen this word actually. I've never seen it. I read a lot. I've never seen it anywhere except on this paper. And 15, we know that apprehended, opposite, released. All right, on to May, still May 2021. Synonyms. And I'm just gonna skip over those that we've looked at before. Right? Nearest the meaning: rectify, correct, profusely, abundantly, squalor. Ooh, okay, interesting. Same kind of question, but the options are a little bit different. So tell me what you think about 23. The new story revealed the squalor of the old city. CSEC made a slight change here. Someone says C, someone says D. But how could it be D? We've already talked about ambience, though. Ambience is like this nice, serene, calm environment. Who says F? There's no F. And isn't it squalor with a long A, like squalor? I've never heard squalor. Yeah, so which one is it? Position, strength, ambience, or destitution? Remember, we're looking for nearest in meaning. So which word here means the same or has a similar meaning to squalor? The ambience is filthy. Let me read the definition for ambience. How could ambience be filthy? Ambience, a particular mood or atmosphere in an environment or surrounding influence. So it's just a mood or atmosphere. But usually, ambience is used in a positive way to describe a calming atmosphere, usually. Anyway, squalor here means destitution. Now, before, squalor meant filthy. Here, it means something slightly different, but it's connected. Destitution kind of more means poor. But you can see where the connotation, I mentioned connotation versus denotation earlier, right? So the denotation is what you will see when you open the dictionary. The connotation, that is the idea associated with the word or how the word functions in a particular context. So in this context, the word means poor. In the previous context, the same word meant dirty, but they both have a similar connotation. They both have a similar negative idea. All right, so squalor, destitution. And none of the other answers make any sense at all. So even by the process of elimination, it could arrive at D. All right, 24. This one is a little tricky because they all look correct here. Number 24. During the rainstorm yesterday, the wind blew incessantly across the island. During the rainstorm yesterday, the wind blew incessantly across the island. Incessantly means non-stop. We often hear about incessant showers on the weather report, right? The weather report. Incessant, constant. 25. We've seen this before. Deficit, shortfall. We've seen that 4 or 5 times. January 2022. I'm still going to be skipping over questions that we've done before, unless someone asks me to go back to a particular question. Meticulous, we're looking for opposites. Meticulous, she paid meticulous attention to her work, as we've discussed before. Meticulous, close, careful, detailed attention. Opposite would be scant, not paying much attention. Here's a new one. Tell me your answer for number 17. The contestants and audience felt that the judges were impartial in their selection of the winner. Ah, Kalesia, yes, it says old city, so you could use some context clues. All right, we're at 17. What's the opposite of impartial? We're looking for opposite, guys. Opposite. Opposite of impartial. I'm seeing A, B, and C. What's happening? Why am I seeing so many different letters in the chat? Are we guessing? All right, so if someone is impartial, it means they are fair. Someone is impartial, they are fair. They are not partial. Partial means biased. Impartial means unbiased. So the opposite of impartial is biased. Right? So partial equals biased. Impartial equals unbiased. Yeah. Or fair. Unfair. We could even say subjective. Objective. Yeah. All right. 18. We've seen this before. They lived in a large, sprawling, dilapidated house. We've seen it before, but we haven't seen it many times, so I'll give you a chance to answer it. They lived in a large, sprawling, dilapidated house. Looking for the opposite of dilapidated. I'm seeing D and I'm seeing only D. That's good. Well kept. 19. A new one. The views expressed by Mr. Jones were inconsistent with those of the committee. What's the opposite of inconsistent? Or inconsistent with? All right, number 19. Inconsistent. So the views expressed by Mr. Jones were inconsistent with those of the committee. So the committee and Mr. Jones had conflicting or different views. They were not consistent, right? Opposite would be compatible. If two things are compatible, it means they fit. They fit well together. They can work well together. They are in agreement. So the opposite of inconsistent here is compatible. Yeah. Irreconcilable is basically a synonym for inconsistent. Irreconcilable means cannot be reconciled or cannot agree. So this wouldn't be an antonym, it would instead be a synonym. All right, 20. At the sound of the bell, we've seen 20 before. We've seen that too many times. All right, let's jump to May, June 2022. And we're looking for opposites. Again, I'll be running through the ones that we've seen 1,000 times before. Opposite of complaint, compliment. Opposite of increase, decline. Opposite of constructive in the context of criticism, negative. Opposite of tactful. Do you remember? Tell me your answer for number 4. Do you remember number 4? Do you remember tactful? Answer number 4. Tactful. So, tactful, opposite, impolite. Last time we saw a much rarer word. This time CSEC gives us a reasonable word, impolite. And we already know lackadaisical. We've seen this before. Lackadaisical means lazy or carefree. So the opposite would have to be diligent. All right, last paper for this section. It's the same paper, but this time we have synonyms. And we've seen probably all of these before. Rectify, we know to rectify something is to fix it. And last time we saw the word correct. Correct or fix. So if you get any of these options, that's the same as rectify. Flowers grow profusely. We already know profuse means plentiful. Profusely, plentifully. We already know that squalor means filthiness. We know that incessant means constant. Incessantly means constantly. We've seen all of these before. Deficit, shortfall. All right, so that's all the questions I could find for synonyms and antonyms. Any questions or concerns with any of these words before we jump to another question type? By the way, we looked at about 150 questions a while ago. Yeah. Yeah, not bad. 2.5 hours. We got through a number of questions. Well over 100. All right, let's jump to another. All right, give me a second. Let me find another question type. Oh, how about we run some error recognition next? What about error recognition? All right, I'm going to give you the options and you vote on it on the chat. Vote on what we tackle next. Error recognition, sentence completion, or equivalent sentences. Which one should we touch on next? Error recognition. Wait, let me type them out, and you guys just do a quick. You guys let me know. Error recognition, equivalent sentences, sentence completion. All right, let me know, guys. Which one should we touch on? Um, you know, Rani, construction shift. I have some construction shifts in about. Those questions are not common at all. They're quite rare compared to the other question types. So we might look at those only after we look at everything else. Over the years, there haven't been that many recent construction shift questions. All right, it seems that the overwhelming majority is saying error recognition. So let's do that. Most controversial set of questions on the paper. All right, let me bring up what I have on error recognition. Somebody says A. I haven't shown you a paper yet. How do you know it's A? And you know the funny thing is, Emil, you're actually correct. You're right. You haven't seen the paper yet. You guys are answering the questions already? Are you seeing into the future? All right. We're starting June 2000 is where we begin. Spelling. Way back in the day when spelling was a thing. I mean, spelling thing still occurs now and then. So we're just looking for the misspelled word. If there is no misspelled word, then we choose D, no error. 13. So you have to be very careful with these questions. Be very careful. Practice for beginners in this course will commence at precisely 10 o'clock. What do you have for 13? Do you see any spelling errors? If it's blurred, turn up the quality on your device, on your video. I mean, it's an old paper, so it's not going to be very, very pretty, but it should be clear enough to read. 13A. Practice the British way can be spelled with an S, but only as a verb. Here, practice is a noun, so it should definitely be CE, not SE. CE. All right, good eye, good eye, good eye. Let's go to 14. When you are compiling the estimates for recurrent expenditure, do you include breakages? Where's the misspelled word here? Number 14. Yes, Omar, happy to help, man. 14. All right, 14. Recurrent has too many C's. Yeah, recurrent. All right, 15. Oh, someone says I need a trim. What are you talking about, man? I used to be a Rasta. This is nothing. 15. The deafening noise blared from John's cassette recorder and seemed incessant. Incessant needs one more S. Yeah. 16. The corporal investigated the report of burglary. All right, 16. Someone says C, burglar is quite fine. Corporal. This is corporal. What is corporal? Corporal. Missing an R for corporal. Alias, some of the questions might be repeated, but there's no guarantee. So it's better to just get a feel for the type of question to expect. But don't really expect the same questions to come back. I mean, CSEC likes repeating questions, but this year might be the year they decide to give you a fresh paper. Yeah. All right. 17. The zealous spectator experienced great disappointment when his favorite team lost. All right. Zealous is spelled incorrectly. Yeah. Zealous comes from zeal. So we need that A. Zealous. Yeah. 18. After the incident, the boys traveled a different route back to school. Guys, it's 1 a.m. for me, and only 100 of you have liked the video so far. That's unbelievable. Don't you like me losing sleep? Don't be mean. Different. Different should be spelled differently. Different. Yeah, that's how it should look. All right, that's that for spelling. And oh boy, I hate these questions. I hate these questions, believe me. Oh yeah. I take a deep breath whenever I reach these questions. These questions really. Yeah, you can write on the paper. You can write on the paper for sure. All right, so error recognition. We've seen this type of error recognition on almost every past paper, if not every past paper. This one is from way back in 2001. So there are 3 different kinds of errors that we're looking out for. A, the sentence is too wordy, that is repetitive, or contains redundancies. Right? Like reversed back, repeat again, just too many words saying the same thing. B, the sentence contains cliches or misused metaphors. Cliches, it's difficult to know for sure what CSEC considers a cliche. Sorry about that. But basically it's just an overused idiom or phrase, one that is stale. And misused metaphor, this one is easier to identify. We know what metaphors are, so if you get a metaphor and it's not used in the right way, for example, if you say that something is a piece of cake, that's, they refer to idioms and metaphors here. If you say that something is a piece of cake, it means it's easy. So if you use it to mean that something is hard, you've used it incorrectly. Yeah. And C, the sentence has incorrect grammar or diction, incorrect grammar or vocabulary. That's self-explanatory. Let's go to 9. I'll have to keep all of this on screen so you can reference the instructions. All right, number 9. If I were the captain of the Australian cricket team, I will attack the batsmen with my fast bowlers immediately after the luncheon interval. What's your answer? I see A and I see many C's. The answer is C for number 9. If I were the captain, I would attack. Will, should be, would. If I were the captain of the cricket team, I would attack. All right, let's jump down to 10. Because of the many fruit trees which distinguished the yard, the little boys enjoyed playing in the yard of the uninhabited house where no one had lived for many years. Number 10, let's go. All right, 10 is A. Definitely got a number of redundancies in this one. Uh, First of all, we do not need to repeat yard here. That is unnecessary. Because of the fruit trees which distinguished the yard, the little boys enjoyed playing there. Yeah, that would be one way to just eliminate having that unnecessary repetition. And then we have the uninhabited house where no one had lived for many years. Uninhabited house already means no one had lived there. So there's no need to have both of those phrases in the same sentence. So redundant. A. Clear? Clear? 11. Seldom do people declare that they are not products of their environment. The sentence not making sense? What sentence isn't making sense, Stella? 11. There is no error here. This is a perfectly acceptable sentence. Seldom, in other words, rarely, do people declare that they're not products of their environment. In other words, people usually declare that they are products of their environments. No problem. All right, 12. Sitting alone in his room by himself, he repeated her name over and over again. 12. Okay, 12 has to be A. Sitting alone by himself, that's redundant, and repeating the name over and over again. Strictly, it's not necessarily redundant because we can repeat something many times, but you know, it still has just too many words for its purpose. So it could, if you want to consider that redundancy, but this is a very clear redundancy right here. That's all we need. Okay, 13. This one is tricky, I think. The platter was circular in shape and in color it resembled a harvest moon. 13. Here we go with the D's. I know when the I know when the wrong answers are about to come in. I know. I always know. Oh no, Nishe. So you've been missing out? Afisha McPherson, are you a teacher? You give me a teacher vibe. Ah, purpose. I like your style. I like your style, purpose, reflection of Christ. See, there's no grammatical problem here. Stella, I like your style. Renata, yeah. Man, YouTube messing up with the notifications. Are you sure you hit that notification bell, man? All right, so this one is redundant. There are a few reasons why. The first reason is circular in shape. There is never a need to say circular in shape. It's like saying, this bottle is purple in color. Like, duh, it's purple. It can only be purple in color. It can't be purple in height or purple in size. Just the same way, circular is enough. No need to say circular in shape. So it's already redundant there. The platter was circular in shape, which is already redundant. And in color, it resembled a harvest moon. No, the problem is a harvest moon um, is circular. Therefore, it resembles a harvest moon both in color and in shape. So the sentence is wasting words. Are you understanding how the sentence is being redundant? The platter was circular in shape, and in color, it resembled a harvest moon. Make sense? Tell me if that makes sense to you guys. The platter had the shape and color of a harvest moon. That would have been less redundant. All right. That one was a bit tricky. Usage. Nicholas, I can't answer that definitively. Honestly. All right, 6 to 10. This is from 2003. Some of the following sentences are unacceptable because of inappropriate grammar, idiom, or vocabulary. Some sentences are acceptable as they stand. No sentence contains more than one inappropriate element. Alia, I am going as far back as possible. That's what I'm doing. I would recommend you do the same. Start recent and work your way back. All right, so let's find where the error is. Number 6. Guys, let's get cracking. We have a lot of questions to work through today. Number 6. And this question has repeated on some recent papers. She was not feeling well at the beginning of the journey, and sitting at the front of the car made her feel worse. All right, so there are 2 points at which CSEC tries to trick you with this question. They try to trick you with A. Should A be good or well? Actually, A should be well. They try to trick you with C. Should C be worse or worst? Actually, C should be worse. So there's no error. No error. She was not feeling well. That's good. Sitting at the front of the car. That's good. Made her feel worse. It couldn't be worst because worst would indicate the superlative. It would be the same as saying sitting at the front of the car made her feel best. Would make sense. It could make her feel better, right? Better, worse. Best, worst. So if you get confused between worse and worst, replace worse with Better, replace worst with best and see if the sentence flows. Anyway, this has no error. Number 7. Mary, will you please fill up the buckets before the water supply is cut off? Easy one. Full up should be fill up. Yes, Anik, right on the money. 8. Any disease of the bones and joints which are due to deficiencies in a single nutritional factor can be prevented. Number 8, we're at 8. We're at 8. Getting hungry. C? Alex says C? What's wrong with C? B? What are you guys talking about? Are you looking at the same? We're looking at number 8. Okay, sorry. I think 8 was not visible a while ago. Yeah, number 8 is a repeat question indeed, Jamie Mullings. Renata knows what's up. Any disease of the bones and joints. What is the subject of the sentence? Any disease. Is it singular or plural? It is singular. Any disease which is due to deficiencies. They try to trick you because they have these plurals here, but the actual subject is any disease. You can basically ignore this. Any disease is due. Any disease is. All right, be careful about the subject verb agreement. Whenever I say the is our business, be careful, ensure that you're properly identifying what the subject of the sentence is. All right, any disease, singular subject. Doesn't matter what comes afterwards, it's still a singular subject. All right, number 9. No one in the island seemed to know where the prime minister could be located at, even though there was a nationwide search to find him, a nationwide search for him. Someone says, which paper is this? I think this is 2003. All right, number 9, B. At is not necessary. We should almost never end a clause or a sentence with a preposition. No one on the island seemed to know where the prime minister could be located. That's it. No at. I mean, Stella, even though is the same as although here. So even though or although, it doesn't matter which one. The at is the problem. No one knew where it could be located. All right, 10. That one was tricky. No sooner had he entered Kathleen's living room and begun preparations for the feast when there was a sharp rap at the door. Another tricky one. Yes, seem to know could be new, but it can also be seem to know. It's not an error. 10B? Why B? What's wrong with B? I'm still not seeing one person giving me the answer. Number 10. Radisha, why C? Someone who says C, please tell me why C. When should be where? Really? What's wrong with begun? What's wrong with begun? This is begun is the past participle. That's perfectly fine. Past perfect. Had he begun? Nothing is wrong with that. C sounds funny. I want to see an answer with an explanation. It's one of the trickier ones. I want to see if anybody can figure it out. And nothing at all is wrong with begun. C should be which? My goodness, what are you talking about? Ah, I'm seeing one person with the right answer. C should be than. You see, this is that tricky one, you know. This one requires you to just read a lot. So you see these types of strange sentence structures. No sooner had he entered Kathleen's living room and begun preparations for the feast than there was a knock. Than. Not when or where. Than. No sooner than. And I know you're confused. I wish I had the time to explain this grammatical point, but this is just how this particular sentence is written. What it means is, ah, no, look at this, right? No sooner had he entered the room, right? No sooner had he entered this person's room and began preparing, than there was a sharp knock. So what it means is, as soon as he entered the room, there was a knock on the door. No sooner had he done that than something else happened. What it means is it's showing the proximity between the two events. It's showing how close together the two things happened. Yeah, and I know it sounds weird. It's not going to sound right unless you know the sentence structure, unless you've seen it before. That's just how it is. It's not going to sound right unless you just simply know this sentence structure. I'm trying to bring up something that might be able to show a few examples for you guys. Give me a moment. Uh, I'm going to show you something. It's a very interesting. It's a very interesting. It's a very interesting sentence structure. One that I haven't seen CSEC uh, test on in a long time. But I'm going to show you. Let me bring up a grammar page. Because I know some of you don't even believe me when I tell you that this is the answer. And it's definitely the answer. 100%. Let me show you something. I like to be thorough and present evidence when necessary. Present. All right, are you guys seeing this grammar page? All right, look at this. The expression no sooner blah 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 than is used to suggest that one action or situation takes place immediately after another action or situation. When no sooner goes at the beginning of a sentence, we use an inverted word order, and this is what we see here. This means the auxiliary verb goes before the subject. We won't get into all of that. I just want to say a few more examples. The train arrived at the station. Soon, the passengers rushed towards it. We could change the sentence and fit it into the CSEC sentence format that we just looked at by saying, no sooner had the train arrived at the station than the passengers rushed towards it. If you have never seen this type of sentence before, this is going to sound strange. But if you have seen it before, then you know that this is just how some people speak. It's just how some people write, and it's perfectly grammatical. No problems. Here's another example. No sooner did the teacher enter the classroom than the students stood up. It means as soon as the teacher entered the classroom, the students stood up. Yeah? Guys, I'm not going to say it's an easy question. It's a hard question. But it is what it is. Not every question is going to be easy. All right, let me get back to it. Hopefully that makes sense now. I can't teach a whole grammar lesson on that, but just believe me. Just believe me. It is correct. Look it up after this. Check out the grammar. Check some examples. You will see many sentences like this. It's a tricky one. I haven't seen that sentence structure on any recent questions, but you might as well be prepared for anything. So let's see. And we have more spelling courtesy of 2003. All right, as fast as I can, give me an answer for number 16. We're looking for misspelled words. If there's no misspelled word, then the answer is going to be D. No error. Plug in your phone, Leona. $16. The nurses were allotted. Allotted is wrong. What's going on? Why is allotted wrong? Oh, Bandy Bliss, tell your mother, thank you for me. So kind. The nurses were allotted separate quarters. I'm seeing A and B for number 16. A? Allotted looks fine to me. All right. Separate. Separate. Yeah. Very, 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 very common misspelling. Very common misspelling. 17. The foreign ship was impounded for polluting our territorial waters. We're at 17. 17. Can you guys keep up? We're only 3 hours in. You should have some more juice left in you. 17. C. Territorial needs one more R. 18. Even though the boy demonstrated his innocence, disciplinary action was taken against him. All right, 18. C. Disciplinary. This should be an A for disciplinary. All right, are we following? Are we following? Are we following? '18. The doctor recommended that the patient spend a period of convalescence in the country in order to recuperate fully. Any problems? 19. Someone is at number 16. We're at 19. 19C. What's wrong with recuperate? I had to double check recuperate because I'm wondering what's wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with recuperate here. Recuperate is fine. Sir, what is that word for B? Convalescence. Convalescence. The time it takes to recover from a sickness or something like that. Like the time it takes to heal. Period of convalescence, healing time. D or B. There's no error here. No problem. I checked these words thoroughly. I couldn't find any misspellings. All of these words look good to me. Yeah, these words are good. You guys aren't going to trick me today. 20. While the secretary was advising the young woman, her discourteous nephew mischievously made faces at her. Yeah, 20. C. I-E, not E-I. And a common misconception with this word, this is not um this is not mischievously really. It's really mischievously. Mischievous. There's no I here. But because so many adjectives end in IOUSLY, we tend to put that I. And the E before I is wrong here. All right, that's that for that. Uh, This is now 2004. Some of the following sentences are unacceptable because of inappropriate grammar, idiom, or vocabulary. Some sentences are acceptable as stand. No sentence contains more than one inappropriate element. So we're just finding the errors here. Let's go to number 6. All right, 6 should be between. You divided the streets between you and me. You only have 2 parties, so it's between. Among is for 3 or more. 7. We've seen a question quite similar to this before. Any disease of the bones and joints, which in fact we've seen this same question, right? What's number 7? Pay attention to what the verb and what the noun is and what the verb is, what the subject is and what the verb is. Any disease is number 8. In a house for Mr. Biswas, Nepal shows that how a man may struggle against great odds to achieve those things that he most desires. Number 8. A. How is unnecessary. No, in fact, that is unnecessary. He shows how a man may struggle, blah, blah, blah. In fact, you can have one or the other, but not both. Yeah. All right, number 9. The duties given the newly recruited officer were planning, coordinating, and organizing the activities of the large staff. Number 9. D. What's wrong with being newly recruited? What's wrong with the newly recruited? Wow, nobody's getting number 9 right. The duties given to. The duties given to the newly recruited officer. Yeah? All right, number 10. You may notice that the windows of the house next door, the man pointed out, looks like those of ancient English cottages. Number 10. Shania, what are you confused about? Ten B. Pay attention to subject and verb. The windows should be look. Windows look, not windows looks. You can't say the windows looks like. They try to trick you because house is singular, but the subject isn't the house. The subject is the windows of the house. Windows look. Subject verb agreement. right? Right. More questions from O4. A for redundancy, B for cliche or misused metaphor, C for incorrect grammar or diction, D for no error. Let's go. 16. Oh, we've seen 16 before. Will should be would. So let's start at 17. To attract more business, the store offered free gifts at no expense to the customer. We're at 17. Someone says D. How is it D? A. The store offered free gifts at no expense. Redundancy. Free gifts means it's at no expense, so no need to say that. 18. The new disciplinary methods have affected a vast improvement on the behavior of students. All right, 18 is C. Affected should be affected. Effected a vast improvement. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm blocking, being blocked. In this case, effect is being used as a verb. Can effect something, effect change, effect improvement. Right. All right. Are we clear on that? 19. She was a nimble footed dancer. Her graceful body executed delicate movements with incredible poise. All right. Nope. Someone said A. I don't see any problems here. Seems like a good sentence to me. Repetitive? I think it's more descriptive than repetitive. There's a thin line, I suppose, between description and repetition. She was a nimble footed dancer. Here we have a semicolon, which means what is coming next is going to elaborate on what has come before, right? It's going to be an extension of the description. So the rest is going on to explain the nimble footedness of the dancer. So I think this is fine. That would be similar to me saying he is a strong man. He managed to lift 500 pounds as well as lift up two cars. I'm not really being redundant by explaining what I mean by he's a strong man. So they're elaborating or explaining in what way she's nimble footed. I think it's fine. I think it's fine, honestly. Yeah. If this were really the repetition would have been, the redundancy would have been more obvious or more blatant, as it is here. As it is here. Yeah. All right. 18. The politician hammered the nail of his argument into the leafy minds of his audience who had come to hear me speak on the difficult subject of monetary policy. All right. 20. B. Misused metaphor. Leafy minds. I don't even know what the sentence is trying to mean. But whatever it's trying to mean, it's not correct. It's not reaching. Yeah, that's very strange. Yeah. All right. Let's jump down to these from 2005. And we're basically just looking for errors as usual. Number 6. Overcome by fear, I ran past my home without realizing that I had done so. What's your answer for number 6? A. I ran past my home. Yeah. Past here is an adverb, which it should be. Adverb, which is talking about how or where you ran. You ran past your home. But the PASSED here, this is a verb. This is just the past tense of past, to pass something. So that's wrong. 7. Of the two books, Good Habits, in spite of its size, provides a deeper study of humans in their environment. All right, the picture is blocking number 7. All right, let me disappear. What is going on with these letters A and B? What? For those saying A, why would you want an apostrophe here? The it's here without the apostrophe signifies ownership. No need for any apostrophes here. This it's is perfectly fine. No problem there. Why you're just guessing? No. Why would it be B? What is the subject? The subject is not the two books. Let me get my face on the screen. You guys need my face. The subject is not the two books. No, that's not the subject. Of the two books, Good Habits. This is one book. Good Habits, in spite of its size, provides. Good Habits provides. That's good. Yeah, there's no apostrophe for it's. No apostrophe is needed. This is perfectly fine. It's with the apostrophe equals it is. For example, it's sunny today. It is sunny today. So we can say in spite of it is size. So no need for the apostrophe at all. Of the two books, this one here, this one book provides singular subject, singular verb. Yeah, it's the same as saying, of all the people in the world, this boy is the most handsome. What's the subject? Not all the people. This boy, this one singular boy. Of the two books, this one book named Good Habits provides a deeper blah blah blah. Therefore, no error. People, you're sleeping, man. Why are you sleeping? No error. All right, are we clear on that? Who is it confusing? Somebody says, what is the difference between this sentence and the previous one with the disease? The difference is the subject is this book, Good Habits. Of the two books, we haven't reached the sentence yet. We're simply saying, of all of these books, of these two books, this one, we are now at the subject, Good Habits, provides. Now look back at the sentence before that this person is referring to. Look at this. What is the subject here? The subject here is any disease. Any disease is. We can't say any disease are. Any disease. And they try to trick you with details about the disease, but we don't care what kind of disease it is. The fact is, any disease is. All right? Down here, what is the sentence talking about? Where is it? The sentence is talking about this book. Which book provides a deeper study of humans in their environment? Not the two books, this one book. The subject is, this sentence is talking about this one book here. All right, people. The sentence is about this singular book called Good Habits. They they have the book title end with an S to further trick you. That's what CSEC likes to do. All right, number 8. There's hardly a point or knocking as no one is not at home. Number 8. We have to move faster. Should be should be wrapping up. We haven't touched on my favorite section yet, equivalent sentences. There's hardly a point or knocking as no one is not at home. Come on, number 8 is a giveaway. No one is C double negative. The not is not necessary. No one is at home. All right. Ooh, what do we have here? Who is this little guy? Let's give him a good burial. What is that bee doing here? This bee is trapped in time. All right, let's get rid of that bee. No, we can get a grade 1. Know that that bee is gone. All right, no one in the island seemed to know where the prime minister could be located at. We've seen this before, so we'll skip it. Number 10. We've seen this disgusting question before as well. No sooner had he entered Catherine's room and begun preparations for the feast than. All right, if you missed the explanation for these, you'll have to get it somewhere else, or if the video is available after the stream, rewatch it. All right, can't spend any more time on that. May 2005, spelling test again. Spelling. 16. While the secretary was advising the young woman, her discourteous nephew mischievously made faces at her. Yeah, we've seen this mischievously, I-E, not E-I. 17. The stationery was recommended to the student by the librarian. The B gave us the answer B. Funny and punny. All right, any problems here? Recommended is good, librarian is good, and this stationery is okay. CSEC is trying to trick you with stationery. They're tricking you. This stationery is perfectly fine. Stationery with an E means things like paper, pencil, marker, books. Stationery with an A means not moving, like a stationary vehicle. All right, so keep that in mind. E is for envelope. Remember that. E is for envelope. Envelopes and paper stuff. All right. So no error actually. If it's blurry, turn up the quality on your video. All right, 19. The doctor recommended. Okay, we've seen this before. This is the same question with no error. So let's not waste time on it. 20. The announcement concerning the intensifying of restrictive measures was not greeted with enthusiasm. Okay, no errors here. Announcement is good, greeted is good, enthusiasm is good. Okay, more spelling again. 2006. A conscientious student did not receive any form of redress from his insensitive colleagues. The conscientious student. We missed one? Oh, sorry about that. Thank you, Stella. Whenever there is a food crisis, the people always experience shortages of basic necessities. When I start missing questions, it's time for bed. 18A. Crises here, this is plural. What we need is crisis, singular. All right, done. All right, number 6 here. Do you see any misspelling? A, that's right. Conscientious is wrongly spelled. I believe this S should be a T. Let me double check. I think that S should be a T. That looks wrong. Conscientious. Yeah, that S should be a T. Yeah, I'm in Japan. All right, 7. Okay, we just saw this one, right? Crisis. Yeah, conscientious was wrong, right? This is an S. This S should be a T. And 7, we saw that question a while ago. We also saw this question recurrent. Okay, number 9. This is a new one. The arguments put forward by the irate parent merely help to further aggravate the situation. Yeah, aggravate, AGG. The principal sent the boy to purchase some stationery. CSEC has a good sense of humor. All right. All right, guys, we have to move. We have to move faster now. A for repetitive, B for cliche or bad metaphor, C for grammar, D for perfect. From here on out, anyone we've seen before, I'll just be skipping over it because I have just a few minutes of juice left. We already explained that 16 is repetitive. Okay, what about 17? We haven't seen 17 before. The regulations concerning the importation of foreign goods are iron bound with red tape. Can't see? Why can't you see? Everyone is saying D, B. Iron bound is not properly used here. Iron bound means strong and unyielding. So it's not a good fit for this sentence. Yeah, not a good fit. That metaphor. Because the iron bound isn't literal, it's a metaphor and it's misused. Sitting alone in his room by himself. Bam. Number 19. 19. Yeah, maybe tomorrow, Fisha. Maybe tomorrow. B. Like an earthquake. Doesn't make sense. Technically, it's a misused simile, but we'll cut CSEC some slack. Number 20. None of the cashier know the combination of the vault. All right, Anik, take care. All the best. $20. New. None of the cashiers. So bad grammar. None of the cashiers. Yeah, none of the cashiers. All right, guys. I think we should call it. Let's call it. Let's call it for now. When can we pick up? Uh, when can we pick up? Let me see. Mm, Sorry for ending suddenly, but I'm getting slightly anxious. Tomorrow is about to be a very early start for me. I have the first couple sessions at school, morning classes. So guess what? Keep an eye on the channel. I'll let you know when I go live again and continue running through these questions. All right. So I want us to finish up the vocabulary and grammar stuff. We haven't touched on equivalent sentences and so on yet. And hopefully after that we have time to touch on some poems and passages. All right, guys. Let's call it. I have to call it anyway. All right. Take it easy for now. All right. Good luck in your exams. Someone have exam tomorrow. Yeah. All right. Take it easy. Sorry for ending so suddenly, but man, I need to start. I need to do like an express sleep right now. All right. Take it easy. Take it easy.